Good
Hi,
evening from
everybody. So
Germany. It's
I'm
pretty late
Josie.
here. It's like 10 p.m. And I would like to let you know first at the beginning a little bit about my background. I'm a member of Global Initiative Women in Tech, an experienced developer. I'm passionate about new technologies, and I'm also an international speaker. Mainly, I present in Europe, but today I'm here. And I have also master degrees in informatics, economics, and geospatial technologies. And besides of this, I worked as a developer lead and developer evangelist in the last 14 years. And let's start with the presentation. Yeah. So you may wonder about the name. What is it? Why there is a Molotov cocktail? Well, initially I just would like to wanted to spice it up a bit. And in the moment of the preparation of this talk, Molotov cocktail for us was kind of connection that it's a very easy drink, which it's very simple, but it immediately influences you, right? So besides of this, what is DevRel? DevRel is a short for developer relations, and developer relations is exactly what it means. It's a marketing policy where you prioritize your relationship with the developers. And DevRel is actually a marketing strategy. It's used to ensure that once company, product, and developers establish a good, continuous relationship with developers through mutual communications. And this presentation is about my personal experience in DevRel. It's a story of one project, how I started DevRel in a company that had no DevRel at the beginning. And I will walk you through all the stages, what happened in 2 years of this project, and it will be kind of a storyline. So I applied to this conference at the beginning of the year, and the situation was entirely different, as you can imagine. Nowadays, I'm in the process of changing a job, so you can actually see the final result of that project, and you will have a full story. So in the past 14 years of my career, I was in several DevRel teams, and this project started 21 months ago. And it started when I joined the company. And furthermore, that company had a very exciting working style. First of all, it was, of course, an agile development environment, which was cool. However, they also applied these agile principles not only to development, but also to all the processes inside the company. So all the things had to be very agile. So what I liked at that moment is that we had different principles, like thinking value, meaning that you would always think about developers and product at the same time. There was also favor to deliver, that everyone is able inside the company to provide feedback. And I think it's precious, especially when you receive feedback, not only from attendees, but also from your colleagues after the conference. We also had principle is freedom to act, duty to correct. And it's about continuous improvement, and sharing leads to caring, which means that almost anyone in the company could jump in and give a talk and provide customer support. And I enjoy it because it expanded my knowledge enormously, and I had lots of experience, and I knew almost everything about this particular project. Besides of this, it also had a principle of in team we trust. So whenever we need to decide on something, it was very rapid. We had just one meeting, and if team would agree on all the conditions and we would have a common understanding, then we don't need to even involve a management board, even with the questions about the budget. So these were one of the main points why I joined the company, because I saw a good value in this. And it could to help it helped us to achieve the best results very quickly, especially in the context of conferences and workshops. Of course, we need to give some attention about different ways and techniques, which are very popular in any IT company. And I guess everyone is heard of Scrum and Kanban, and there are some advantages and disadvantages for the conferences, for developer relations. So Scrum was good for our DevRel, because actually the team was very cross-functional, which means that you would have this at the same time in one team, a marketing person, a salesperson, a developer who covers the whole technical part, and also a professional person who would write blogs or documentation. And also we had our daily stand-ups and project reviews, which is very good for the conference preparation. Scrum mode was suitable for high performance, yeah, and at the same time, the disadvantage was that if we commit to this way of working, the preparation for the conference would likely start just 2 weeks in advance. And obviously, you will be under time pressure and it will be very stressful. That's why sometimes we adopted a Kanban mode, and it was different because you can start 6 months in advance and you would slowly prepare the talk. Fortunately, the disadvantage, you can also forget some stuff somewhere on the backlog. So besides of this, there were also interpersonal communication inside the team. We had a very relaxed style, and we had, of course, respect at work and fun at work. Where fun at work, it's not that we were laughing all the time, but that we were enjoying the process of work like a team, and that was exactly what we wanted to also have with our developers. We were very open, and we had a policy of speak up and speak out. And it was very important for the developers to explain them at what stage we are, what would be the next features, and when they will be available. So yeah, the project started 21 months ago. I joined the company. The company was cool, and we were going to the next stage to actually start the project itself. Yes. So the project was very exciting because, as you can see, these keywords, IoT, AI, and also a public API on top of these, it's like the most common popular keywords nowadays. And it was very cool, and we can talk a lot about it. But our point is DevRel. And so I would like to show you how we adopted an agile style for our DevRel. So first, when we started the project, of course, we would ask who is our user, why do they need this particular feature or project, what goals does it have. So DevRel answered this. You need these answers for DevRel in order to target the right community or the right audience. And when we choose an event or we do a talk, we always think about these questions. So we needed to create a persona for our DevRel. And in this case, of course, it's supposed to be a developer. And the developer who want to have some specific features or who want to achieve something with our products, especially with APIs. So the product can be, the integration process can be very quick and efficient. So in the agile style, we always have a persona. And in our case, we created this persona, which was 29 years old developer hero who located in Berlin, worked for tech startup with 10 employees. So this immediately gives you an impression for whom you prepare your presentation, who will read your documentation, what would this person be interested in, and you can write even the full story about the user. So that was our story. And why is it so important for DevRel? Because you can have some hints about on which events you need to go. For example, in this case, if persona doesn't have a family, it means that the person is quite flexible and can always attend hackathons and spends the whole weekend there. And so it gives you some insider information, right? And if a person already owns his own IT infrastructure, probably he tried many things and he went through lots of different documentations, and probably you should have a comprehensive documentation because this person definitely gonna open it and check it. Also, if the person is working in open source, it gives you another information, if it's introvert or extrovert. And besides this, if you see that the person is working for the third startup in his career, maybe if he's really cool, you can hire this person. And so you can use a conference for hiring people. So the project was set and the persona was defined, and we start to prepare our first mass media campaign. And even 15 months ago, when the project was just fresh, we already participated in the first conference in New York. It was IoT Slam, and it got lots of feedbacks and lots of users. And apparently, we were not ready for it. However, we still think that it was the right thing, because this feedback helped us to shape a picture of what we want to achieve with our product and what value we want to provide to our developers. So the central question which we focused on, what kind of events we want to attend after this, because there were so many different communities and a lot of IoT directions. Also in US at that moment, IoT was already a dominant topic, and in Europe, it was just the beginning of IoT. So we had to find the right market. And as inspiration for us, we decided that we will try to do as many use cases as possible for almost 10 different IoT scenarios, like product alarm systems or water management, self-driving cars, or even agriculture. We prepared examples, test environment, and put them all on GitHub. And so developers could instantly use it, test it, and start with our product. Of course, this approach increased awareness of our solution, and because we had lots of events, and we had to move to 1 week sprint. And first, of course, we were focused on preparation of the talk. It was really intense: presentation, speech, website, announcement, blog post. So when you have this team with the different skills, it's possible to do everything in one sprint. But when I started, I was just the only one, and I had to do all of this in 1 week, and it was tough. So it's for sure, when you have a team, it's much more enjoyable to work on the preparation and do DevRel. So then we prepare for the conference itself. We go through the list of speakers, we arrange different networking, and usually speakers are also happy to collaborate and to promote your product for developers. And it's excellent because they're kind of influencers on the conference, and it will always bring better results. There is also a conference day, which is quite a hard day, like today. And when you don't sleep and you don't eat and you just work. And after the conference, you usually analyze the feedback. And this feedback is really about the product, which means that you start writing news stories, how to improve the product, what are the next features you want to develop, what went wrong, and so on. So all these conferences, presentations, workshops pushed us to create actually a better product, because we gathered so many feedback. And one of the things was to prioritize product feature and improvements you want to do, and at the same do a DevRel. So there were all the time these kind of questions. What is first here? Do you want to treat your developer first, or you want to focus on the product? Moreover, are you able to do it at the same time? And it cannot be very clear. So we decided to create a definition of done, and just kind of MVP for each of the conversation with developer, and which would include different points for every story and different criteria. And you have to be focused also on technical details of the user. So what will happen when the user gets this feature, right? So if they, of course, every company needs to earn money. And if the feature request takes lots of time and lots of investment and personal investment, so from business point of view, of course, it's probably not right. But here comes another small problem of DevRel, that actually when you agile and when you do everything, it's really hard to find the KPIs, right? So we had to move from command and control to context and trust. And I like it because, yeah, how do you measure a success of the conference? And no one still doesn't know how to measure this. How do you measure all the attendees who sign up for your service afterwards? So here's the teamwork is just basically should be based on trust, and everyone should feel responsible, and this the only thing which can bring excellent results. By the way, what we found out, the KPIs can be still based on Twitter account mentions and signups for the product if you use a promo code. So we got a better product, and 9 months ago was a boom. We got lots of developers. There was only one question: how do we keep all of them to use our product? Because also we start having competitors, and at the same moment in the market, and we try to build a better developer relations based on our principles, like inside the company. And when we have a relationship with a developer, it's usually term, right? So developer who likes your product and who likes your idea can usually wait and forgive you for the bugs, and just promise them that you will not stop working on the product. So why did we get so many users? Well, we were very open about at what stage we are. And when we launched the product, we told everyone that it's just a testing phase and that they can try it out. We also did not try to sell it at the beginning. And we put it this way that, can you please just try your ideas using our product? So we gave a better conditions to developers who came up with a great product use cases. So the best thing here was that we choose the right language for software developers, since the marketing language is not always targeting them right, reaching them right. So yeah, nowadays everyone should perform marketing, and it's especially useful if your developers and everyone in the company go to the events, participate, write blog posts, and use social profiles to promote the product. So the social skills were essential, and then we got our award as the best innovative technology in IoT industry in Germany, and immediately everyone started talk about us. And what does it mean for the product? Well, there are lots of competition, and where you can apply nowadays, and you can participate in hundreds of them, and at the end you will always win something, right? So, but it was critical for the project, because whenever you talk that you got an award, people just start listening to you and they start to be interested in your ideas, especially if this award was created or approved by some communities. It immediately puts trust in the idea. And even if people don't know anything about your product. And it was really cool also for the team spirit, because immediately everyone started believing the product and invest even more time, and they got much more inspired. Besides of this, also lots of competitors appeared, and they started to invest time to research our product. And I think it's really cool, because they try to do better, and when you look at their product, you try to do better, and somehow it all shapes the industry every time. And it's a huge progress for IoT, for example, nowadays. So after this was a customer boom. We got like 10 times more customer in that month and in the whole project. And also we start to have a question: how many users actually the company need in order to be successful? Honestly, we didn't expect so many users, and it was such a massive success for us. And our business model, that we're software as a service, was pretty stable. Everything was great. The problem was with the customers, because when your users are developers, they usually have technical questions, and these technical questions are pretty complicated. And customer support should be very knowledgeable. However, developers who work inside the company usually don't like to do customer support. So this was a problem for us, that we need to answer all the requests. However, we, as I told you, we worked in Agile style. And so everyone in the team, even the marketing person, were able to answer quite complicated technical questions. So here comes the meaning of Molotov cocktail. So we prepared this conference and thought about a drink. Like there are so many ingredients. It's very transparent. It gets not so many ingredients. Sorry, it's very transparent. It immediately gets an effect. And so this was what happened in the last months. Actually, the company got acquired by another big telecommunication company. They decided to cut all of the IT department entirely and leave just salespeople because we were on that product when at that stage when we can just sell our product, and they didn't see a real value in continuing the development because their primary business required, I guess, more attention. So the whole project was consecutive small wins. I think it's the best way to know the technical side of the product, and is to be that we have to be involved in all the stages that will help to understand the product. After this, you could see what was in this cocktail. It was agile principles, new technologies, product, developer, also marketing, because marketing is still a thing in the developer relations. Then we got our award and we created a stable relationship with our developers. So I want to finish my talk actually with bringing on and together DevRel and Agile development. So this is a manifesto for Agile development, and the central part, as you can see, is that individuals and interactions are always over processes and tools. So we always treat our user and developer first. And working software over comprehensive documentation. So customer collaboration over contract negotiations. And if you see a potential in a developer's idea, just give him your software for free or your product for free and then try to sell it. Try not to sell it if you are somewhere at a very early stage of your product development. And so nowadays the market turns almost every month. You cannot predict and you cannot really create a plan for the next year. That's why you have to respond to the change. Yeah, with all what's happening, it's practically impossible to now be prepared to any new event and to any conference. You don't know, will it be online or not? And you have to be very agile and stay agile for DevRel. So thank you for your attention. And I hope if you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer them.